Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back with another Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure review. Today, taking a look at another figure that I've been fairly highly anticipating. It is the Star Wars Rebels Kanan Jarrus. Finally, a realistic and articulated version of Kanan in 3 3/4 inch. Before this release, I think all we've gotten was 5 POA figures based off the animation, which is fine if you want like the animated style look, but they can't articulate basically. And I want my Jedi characters to be able to pose. So this is one I'm definitely looking forward to getting. Kanan's one of my favorite Jedi characters, and I just really like Rebels a lot. So this is very cool that this is coming out. This is based on his season 1, season 2 look. His season 3 onwards look is actually coming out right now. It's going to only be available with the Ghost HasLab. I imagine they'll probably reissue that figure at some point and put it on a different card back and maybe take away some accessories or something. I don't know, but hopefully they do that because I'd like to get that version. But if they never do, I'm happy to just have this one. But taking a look at the card back first, pretty big fan of this card back. Has a really nice image of Kanan, animated too. Like I mentioned in my Rex review, they seem to have gone away from doing like custom renders where they try to make the character look realistic in the actual picture. They seem to have done away with that. It would have been kind of cool to see a realistic artistic take on Kanan for the card back, but it's okay. It's still a really cool looking figure on the card back, and the Rebels nameplate looks really nice. I actually wouldn't mind if I ever track down another one and it's in good condition. I might actually pick it up to keep it carded because I actually do really like how this looks. But we're gonna open this one. There's the figure. Another image of the figure and card back, and then a small write-up. If you want to read that, go ahead. But that is pretty much it. So I'm gonna crack this figure open and take a closer look. Now I have Kanan out of the packaging. It is a really cool figure. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's pretty much what I would have expected to come out. And yeah, we'll just take a closer look right off the bat. Looking at the head sculpt and the face print, I think it looks pretty good. I think it's a pretty good representation of a realistic looking Kanan outside of animation. He's got the ponytail there, little ponytail. The hair looks nice. The face details are all printed pretty cleanly. It's got the little goatee. Looks pretty nice. Pretty happy with how that looks. Does have his little shirt here. I can't tell. That looks like it's a paint scuff there, which is a bit unfortunate. That's actually kind of pretty noticeable. But it's kind of like this really off, like almost mustard yellow, and then you've got like another kind of shade of mustard yellow on the shirt there. But the sculpt is pretty nice. He's got gloves on. He's got the shoulder armor with the full arm of armor on the right side there. With the strap, which it actually does not have any paint apps for the buckles or anything, which is interesting. You got the emblem on the shoulder pad there. The paint for the actual armor is a nice metallic color that makes it look like metal armor without actually being metal, which I think is pretty cool. And he's got the armored gauntlet and whatnot. And the belt looks pretty nice, gray belt, some buckles and whatnot painted, but they didn't paint this little cylinder like comlink or whatever, which is a little unfortunate. And the pants are pretty basic, but are decently sculpted. He does have these knee pads there that actually do have sculpted straps, but the straps are the same color as the pants, so it's really easy to miss that detail. They probably could have painted that. I don't really know why they didn't. But the knee pads are actually part of the lower leg sculpt, so that is nice. If they were part of the sculpt, I think it'd look kind of weird when you bend the knee. And the boots look nice too, with a couple different shades of brown used there. I'll do a comparison in a little bit, but I will compare it with the Black Series. We did get a Black Series 6-inch figure this years and years ago, and then they did a re-release with the face print update. I never got the face print update because I didn't feel like it was worth spending the full price for the same figure with just that little change, because I still thought he looked fine. And I still really like that Black Series figure. It's aged really well, and I'm actually surprised at how the fair amount of like color differences between the two figures, which we'll see in a few minutes. But yeah, overall, I do think it looks pretty good. There are a few spots where I think the paint's a little messy, and there could have been some extra paint apps, like on buckles on the strap on the chest or whatnot. I think would have been kind of nice, but overall, it looks pretty good. In terms of articulation, you do have the dumbbell joint at the neck that goes up a bit. It looks down a little bit of pivot, and then rotation. Single hinge at the elbow, shoulder, which the left side is unhindered and moves pretty good. The right side, the shoulder pad is a softer plastic that is glued down at the arm and not the shoulder. It will move out of the way, but you will want to be a little careful of it because it will warp the, if you like gonna leave him in like a dynamic pose, it will warp the shoulder pad. So you want to be careful with that, but it does rotate as well. The elbow hinges actually do not bend in as much as I want them to. They only bend pretty much at 90, which is pretty much what the Black Series figure could do. And I always wanted that figure to have a deeper elbow bend as well. So that's a little disappointing. I think he definitely should have had deeper elbow bends. 90 is not the worst, but it's also not the best. He also has swivels at the wrists, and both wrists have up and down as well, which is nice. Then he has a dumbbell joints or a ball socket at the waist, so it's not at the middle of the torso, so it doesn't like break up the sculpt or anything. It goes back, honestly, not really that far. Goes forward a little bit of pivot, and then rotation is mainly what that's used for. You got your hip joints, they kick forward, they go back a little bit. You do have pretty good spread. Swivel cuts at the thigh there, a single hinge at the knee that goes maybe a little bit past 90, which is kind of crazy. They have more range than the elbows. Then hinges at the ankles that go up, they go down, and they have rocker for pivot. So pretty good articulation. Obviously, it's the best articulated 3¼ inch Kanan we've ever gotten, but I do feel like mainly in the elbows, he could have a little bit more range. In terms of accessories, he comes with the essentials. Of course, he's got to have his lightsaber, has a nice blue blade. The hilt is decently sculpted and painted, although I will say at the very edge of the hilt where the blade is, the paint is kind of thin there, where you can kind of see the blue translucent bleeding through. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have made go over that again with some more paint so that wouldn't happen, but not a big deal. You can hold it in either hand. His right hand has a trigger hand, his left hand does not. I will say, let's just see, maybe the left hand. Oh yeah, the left hand definitely has a tighter grip. You can still hold it in the right hand without much issue, but the left hand definitely has a much tighter grip. He does also come with an unlit lightsaber hilt, which looks pretty good. And it does have a peg there, so you can plug that on his belt. And it looks pretty good. Unlike the Black Series, it doesn't have the gimmick where you can take it apart like he does in the show and store it on different parts of his belt to make it look hidden. Obviously, I get why they did that. It's really small, and you would lose or break that so easily that, yeah, I understand why they didn't do that. So this is perfectly acceptable. Looks pretty good. And then, of course, he does have his pistol. This could be the one bit of reuse on this figure. It's like the same pistol that some of the skiff guards use, so it might be reused from one of them. But it could be a new sculpt too, I'm not sure. It's just cast in gray plastic, but it's sculpted pretty nice. He holds it best in the right hand that has the trigger finger. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then you can also store that in the holster, and that stores pretty nice and securely. It's not going to fall out, so that's good. Would have been kind of cool if they included like maybe an interchangeable head sculpt where he's wearing the temple guard's mask. I think that would have been cool. But overall, I don't have too much to complain about when it comes to accessories. He comes with what he needs to come with. And for a standard release, that is good enough. Yeah, I guess lastly, just do some comparisons. They haven't done all of the Rebels characters in their Season 1 looks. But here is the version of Sabine we currently have. This is the Ahsoka one. I think they look pretty good together. She is getting a Rebels, based on the show cartoon figure that's packed with another version of Chopper, I think. I don't have Chopper. I missed out on that figure. It sold out, and apparently is way more popular than I expect them to be. But I'll actually leave her here for a second. But maybe I'll get him eventually. Maybe I will. I don't know. And then another kind of recent release here is the deluxe Zeb, who is also in his early Season 1-2 look. And I think Kanan and Zeb look really good together. That works out really nicely. I don't have the Ahsoka Hera. I passed on that figure. Maybe someday I'll get it. I don't know. I'll take these ones out for now. Ooh. And I will lastly compare with the Black Series figure. And I was expecting to like the Rebels figure more, or the TVC figure more, but honestly, I don't know. They both do kind of things, good things and bad things. Like, well, not bad, but like obviously the head sculpt and face print is better on the 3¼ inch because my version of the Black Series doesn't have face prints. Although I never thought this painted face looked that bad, which is why I didn't upgrade. You can see like the difference in colors, like mainly in the shirt. Like his shirt is a much darker color on the Black Series. He's got green here instead of this just different color of yellow. I'm honestly not sure which one's more accurate. I kind of like the look of the Black Series one more, if I'm being honest. The darker color and this nice sculpted detail of the texture of his shirt there. I just think is so cool looking and looks really good. He also has painted buckles on the chest strap there, so, and had some weathering painted on the armor in certain spots. So yeah, I don't know. And the legs, the boots are a different color. His pants are a little darker and definitely have a much cooler looking sculpted texture to them. Both of them have pretty similar articulation. Honestly, the only advantage the 3¼ inch one has in terms of articulation is the hinges in the wrists. Otherwise, they are both pretty similar, if I'm being honest. Like I said, the Black Series one did have the lightsaber you could disassemble, so if you take the blade out, it had these two tabs, and you can actually unplug them, and then you could store the hilt by plugging the different parts on, like you did in the show, early in the show, to hide the saber, which was a really cool feature, but it did kind of make the lightsaber a little more flimsy. He has the same gun. This one actually had a nice wash painted on it. But yeah, like I said, I think this Black Series one has really aged pretty well, honestly. I think the only thing they could really do to make this bit better if they were to remake it is just give them some better articulation, and that's pretty much about it. But overall, I think the new 3¼ inch vintage collection figure is really nice. It is really nice to finally have this character in 3¼ inch to add to my Jedi collection. Like I said, one of my favorite Jedi characters, and I know a lot of people who are only 3¼ inch will probably be really happy that this character is finally available in that scale. So if you are a fan of Star Wars Rebels and a fan of Kanan Jarrus, or just want a cool Jedi character to add to your shelf, I would highly recommend picking up Kanan here. He is a very cool addition to the TVC lineup of this year. I don't think he takes #1 spot. I think Jango Fett's still my favorite of the year so far, but Kanan's a really nice high contender at any rate. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.